No, none at all. Let's speak with Mike Parry. Mike, hello.
Yeah, hi, Ian.
How you doing?
Very well indeed, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Great to talk to you. And on those issues you were just talking about, Ian, it's just been announced that the Premier League games will return on June the 17th.
June the that was the date I was looking for that was spectacularly removed from my eyes. So June the 17th.
June 17th. Now, that's 2 weeks on Wednesday, because what happened was there was a big tug of war going on within football between June the 12th, which is a weekend, and June the 19th. So they've obviously split the differences. 2 weeks on Wednesday, Premier League football will return. That is massive, Ian, you know, because it is such a huge industry in this country, and it affects so many hundreds of thousands of people in this country, millions and millions around the world, billions of pounds worth of business. It is a major step forward and a very, very dramatic announcement.
Yeah, a huge announcement. But, of course, you know, football, I mean, I remember back in the day, Mike, I mean, you used to be a diehard Evertonian. I'm sure that's all gone by the wayside these days.
Still am, mate.
Of course you are.
Don't worry about that, yeah.
But can you imagine Goodson Park without a crowd?
Well, not really, but then again, you just got to take it. You know, we're all in the midst of a terrible crisis. You also mentioned pubs just before I came to air, and you're absolutely right about that. Absolutely vital that we get the pubs open again as soon as we can, not just because I think people are gagging for a drink. We can all have a drink at home, and I regard pubs as just great institutions, not necessarily somewhere I want to go and get bladderated. But the point is, the English pub is unique. It's at the heart of, well, I do like getting bladderated, obviously.
I was going to say, do you go there for the history, Mike? Is that what it is? We've been in a few of them together in our time. So.
Of course we have. Of course we have. And listen, you know, the places where you live in the Shire counties, Kent, and I live in Surrey, and I love the pubs there, and they're great institutions, and they need to be opened again. And we're lucky enough to live in a part of the world where they have big gardens. You could open the gardens first. You could have waiter service. You could have people going in through the back door, buying their drinks, coming out through the front door, sitting in the garden. It can be done. And if football can get their act together and announce, as they just have done a few minutes ago, a June the 17th start, it would be wonderful if we could have some direction from the government on when we can open our pubs, and safely, although I'm sure you'd agree with me, Ian, there's no guarantee of absolute safety in either football or reopening the pubs. There can't be.
Yeah, that's the trouble, Mike, isn't it? That, you know, whatever, there's going to be this element of risk that can't be eradicated completely. It just can't, by definition.
I agree with that, because it's always going to be the case. But, for instance, the footballers have been getting tested now over the last 2 days. Only 3 out of over 1,100 were positive yesterday. There's more tests going on today. That's a minuscule number. And for that reason, I think it's worth taking the risk. There's other ways that you can protect yourself. Some footballers, Mr. Troy Deeney, said, I don't want to go home from training. I've got a little boy there. You've got to make sacrifices. Troy Deeney maybe should move into a hotel for a couple of weeks or something like that. We've all got to change our lives to make the wheels of football and the brewing and drinking industry go round, because they're so important to us.
And in terms of, I mean, how have you got on with it, Mike, the last couple of months? I mean, because, you know, you're a social character.
Yeah.
The idea that you can't get out there and weave your magic in a crowded room, that must be have been terrible.
Well, it's very kind of you. I am so knackered, Ian, that I am of huge risk. For instance, clinically, I'm obese. I mean, I don't believe I'm obese. And when I look in the mirror, I'm not obese. But according to medical records, I am. I have an underlying heart condition, which put me in hospital for 7 months, 15 years ago. But for some strange reason, the heart's still going, but it's an underlying condition. I have diabetes too, and I'm of a certain age, i.e. past 60. You put all those together, and I'm one of the most vulnerable people in society. So actually, I shouldn't even go through the front door. But life has to go on. I have to go out. You have to, you know, obviously do a bit of shopping and all that. It's just the time of the year when it came down. At the end of the tax year had come. I had to go off and see all sorts of financial specialists to make sure that I could retain a small portion of my minuscule fortune. So, you know, there are things that have to be done, and you just have to say to yourself, in the end, everybody's taking a gamble.
Yeah, everybody's taking a gamble. And just a final point, Mike. I'm and I can't actually find the tweet now, but somebody said, have I imagined this, or did you and Porky Parry used to do a programme together mid-mornings? And of course we did. How long did we did that for about 18 months, didn't we?
Did for about, I think it was about 12 months in, and I remember during that time,
That's
Home
Graham,
Secretary, sorry?
So it was Graham that asked the question.
Oh, Graham, I see. Yeah, okay, Graham, thank you. But I think during that time, I think a Home Secretary either resigned or got sacked or something like that. We were on top of the game, you know what I mean? Well,
That's
we're always
right.
on top of the game, but we certainly
Indeed.
were with that one. And it was a very pleasurable 12 months that I spent with you, Ian, and we, believe me, we kicked a few doors down and put a footmark on the history of radio broadcasting.
You're absolutely spot on, Mike. Thank you. Always good to talk. Mike Parry with us here on Talk Radio.